Let's analyze this rapid bullet game. Opening analysis. Hungarian opening. Opening name. This game begins with 1. G3. This is known as the Hungarian opening. Strategy and tactics in the Hungarian opening. White strategy. Hungarian opening. Fianchetto setup. The main idea behind 1. G3 is to fianchetto the light-squared bishop to G2. From G2, the bishop exerts long-range pressure on the AH1 diagonal, especially on the D5 and C4 squares, and supports white kingside. Flexible and positional. The Hungarian opening is a very flexible and less common opening. White avoids committing pawns early in the center, instead aiming for a solid, positional setup from which to launch later central or wing operations. Transpositional potential. It can often transpose into other openings like the King's Indian attack or Reti opening setups, depending on White's subsequent moves. Drawbacks. The main drawback is that White's center is not immediately challenged, which allows Black to establish a strong central presence. Black strategy against Hungarian opening. Central control. Black's primary aim is often to establish a strong pawn center, typically with E5 and D5, taking advantage of White's cautious approach. Development. Standard development of knights and bishops, along with castling, is crucial to prepare for the middle game. Counterattacking the fianchetto. Black might look for opportunities to challenge White's fianchettoed bishop on G2, or to exploit the slightly weakened kingside due to G3. Move-by-move commentary. 1. G3. White begins with 1. G3. Launching the Hungarian opening. This move immediately prepares to fianchetto the light-squared bishop to G2, where it will exert long-range pressure on the center and queen side. It's a flexible, less common opening that avoids early pawn commitments. 1. E5. Black responds decisively with 1 E5, immediately taking control of the center. This is a very strong reply against 1. G3, as Black stakes a claim on the D4 and F4 squares, and opens lines for their pieces. 2. Bishop 2. White follows through with the plan, playing 2. Bishop 2. The light-squared bishop finds its home on the long diagonal, looking potent and ready to support White's central control. 2. Nf6. Black develops the knight to 2. Nf6, bringing a piece into play, controlling the central D5 and E4 squares, and attacking White's E4 square, though it's empty. A standard and solid developing move. 3. E4. White pushes 3. E4, establishing a pawn in the center and challenging Black's control of D5. This creates a solid central presence for White, though it also closes the long diagonal for White's bishop on G2 somewhat. 3. Bc5. Black develops the bishop to 3. Bc5, placing it on a very active square. From C5, the bishop eyes White's F2 pawn, puts pressure on White's kingside, and controls the D4 square. This is a very aggressive and well-placed bishop. 4. Nf3. White develops the knight to 4. Nf3, a natural developing move that controls the central D4 and E5 squares, and prepares for kingside castling. 4. Nc6. Black develops the knight to 4. Nc6, bringing another piece into play, and supporting the E5 pawn. This knight also eyes the D4 and B4 squares. 5. Oh. White castles kingside with 5. Oh. This is a crucial step, bringing the king to safety and connecting the rooks. White's king is now secure behind its pawn shield. 5. Oh. Black follows suit with 5. Oh. Castling kingside. Black's king is also now safe, and the rook on F8 is connected and ready to participate in the game. Both sides have now completed their kingside development. 6. C3. White plays 6. C3, a prophylactic move to support a future D4 push and prevent any knight jumps to D4. It also strengthens the pawn chain. 6. D6. Black plays 6. D6, solidifying the E5 pawn and opening a diagonal for the dark-squared bishop. This is a very standard move, preparing for a future EXD4 or D5. 7. 4. White pushes 7. 4. A strong central pawn push that challenges Black's E5 pawn and opens lines for White's queen and dark-squared bishop. This creates tension in the center. 7. B flat 6. Black retreats the bishop to 7. B flat 6. While retreating, this bishop still keeps an eye on the foundation or 2 square, and is well placed to support Black's kingside. It also avoids being hit by tempo. 8. Dx e5. White captures on e5 with 8. Dx e5. exchanging pawns in the center. This opens the d-file and creates an open game. 8 n x e4. Black recaptures with 8 n x e4, bringing the knight to a very active central square. The knight attacks white's f2 pawn and controls important central squares. This is a very strong move by black. 9 b3. White develops the bishop to 9 b3, bringing a piece into play and defending the d4 square. This bishop also prepares to support white's central control. 9 n x e5. Black recaptures on e5 with 9 n x e5, bringing the knight to a strong central square. Black has a very active knight and a good central presence. 10 n e1. White moves the knight to 10 n e1. This is a somewhat passive move, retreating the knight to the back rank. White is likely trying to reorganize, but it's a loss of tempo. 10 n x f2. Black unleashes a fantastic tactical blow. 10 n x f2. This knight sacrifice attacks white's queen and rook simultaneously, and opens lines for black's other pieces. It's a very strong and forcing move. 11 k x f2. White is forced to capture the knight with 11 k x f2. White's king is now exposed on f2, and the kingside pawn structure is shattered. This is a very dangerous position for white. 11 n g4 plus. Black delivers a check with 11 n g4 plus. The knight on a daily 4 attacks white's king and forces it to move. This is a crucial follow-up to the sacrifice, creating a discovered attack on white's queen if the king moves to veg 1. 12 kilogram 1. White moves the king to 12 kilogram 1, the only safe square. The king is now exposed, and the dark squares around it are very weak. 12 b x e3 plus. Black delivers another check with 12 b x e3 plus. This is a devastating check from the bishop, which also attacks white's rook on f1. White is in serious trouble here. 13 k1. White moves the king to 13 k1, the only legal move. The king is now stuck on the h1 square, and white's position is completely collapsing. 13 n f2 plus. Black delivers another check with 13 n f2 plus. A discovered attack on white's king, and the knight on f2 also attacks white's queen on d1. This is a crushing blow. 14 kilogram 1. White is forced to move the king back to 14 kilogram 1. 14 n x d1 plus. Black captures the queen with 14 n x d1 plus. Black has won white's queen and is now up a significant amount of material. This is a completely winning position for black. 15 rf2. White tries to defend with 15 rf2, bringing the rook to the f-file. 15 n x f2. Black captures the rook with 15 n x f2, winning another piece. Black is now up a queen and a rook for a knight. The game is essentially over. 16 kf1. White moves the king to 16 kf1. 16 break 4. Black develops the bishop to 16 break 4, preparing to attack white's king and deliver checkmate. White left the game. Indeed, white saw the writing on the wall. With black up so much material and with such a strong attack, there was no way to continue. Summary of the opening phase. The game started with the Hungarian opening, where white aimed for a flexible fianchetto setup. However, black responded strongly with a central pawn push and active piece development. White's decision to push 3 e4 and then develop the knight to f3 led to a balanced, but then quickly escalated into a tactical game. The turning point was black's brilliant 10 nxf2 sacrifice, which opened lines to white's exposed king and led to a devastating series of checks and material gains. Black capitalized on white's kingside weaknesses and poor king safety after the pawn structure was shattered. An excellent example of aggressive and precise tactical play by black, ultimately leading to white's resignation.